Emma through my roommate Ellen, who was my randomly assigned freshman year roommate when we were studying away in London. So we met entirely through NYU's bureaucracy. I first met Emma through many a Skype chat that Ellen had when we were first year roommates. And everyone was talking about their roommates, and I'm fairly sure that I got voted best roommate of the friend group. And so it was kind of cool because it was all digital, and then when we came to New York, Ellen lived with you her sophomore year. And so I got to meet you in person and see all of the amazing projects you're doing. And also we watched all your YouTube videos when we were in London. One of my really good friends, RJ Calef, his family is Palestinian, but they live in Las Vegas, and they have a store where they sell like precious stones and metals. And for a Christmas gift, he actually gave me this globe where all of the countries have stones that are made of that, that are native to that country. And it's just like really beautiful, and it's something that I was like, that's so kind, and it's such a, I have a lot of things with things having weight and presence, and this is like such a nice little object that has a good weight and presence to it. So I'm actually in the same major as Ellen. We're both in global liberal studies, but we have different concentrations. So mine's in politics, rights, and development, and then I have a double major in Spanish. And my thesis is essentially, if I'm trying to boil it down, on how different exhibitions of Latin American contemporary art reflect US politics towards Latin America. So if you when you see around my room, I have like plenty of like old exhibition catalogs and old tote bags from museums, and I have some things around my room from the different art museums that I've gone to and I've picked up. So I've been trying to obsessively get as much material as I can as I'm writing my thesis. I'm really passionate about it, I think, because I think culture, and I think Emma, you are someone who understands well, representation in different areas of culture can really, really change politics and can really jump like 5 steps ahead of certain politics that we have. And so my focus on Latin American art is because I'm from Brazil, I'm Brazilian, and I remember going to museums and never seeing my country on a wall label or seeing artists from my country, or if they were there, no one talked about the fact that they were from Brazil or what was happening there. And I think that's something that's really important. And I mean, if you go to a museum and you see that there's artists from all around the world producing really beautiful things, it can really change the way that you think about your world and the people in it. And these are actually 2 pages from the Whitney Museum. Little like museum guide or like museum map that you have, and one of them is for Helio Chisica, who is a Brazilian-based artist who passed away a while ago, but he was an artist during the Brazilian dictatorship. And this was his first major retrospective in the United States of all of his works. And I remember as soon as I saw it was happening, I went to it like 3 times, and I like was so moved every time I went because I could read all of the wall labels, and I could explain to people what was happening in the history, and I could explain to them what the music was, and all of those different things. And it was kind of the first time that I got to do that in a show, or I didn't feel like people were talking at me. And then right next to it, I have a show that was happening at the same time called by Alexander Calder, who's an American kinetic sculptor. And it was the first time in a museum where I saw where they were referencing both of the exhibits when they were talking about the artists and explaining like these 2 people across the world had these relationships and they were engaging with each other. And that was something that is so cool, because I think it's super important to show that, you know, it's not like everyone is sitting in their ivory tower making their art or making their movies. You're interacting with people and speaking with people and kind of coming into each other's space. And so I felt like I just had to put that up, so I just would always remember it. And it's right by my mirror and on top of my makeup, so I always kind of get to keep a look at it in the morning when I'm getting ready. I've been moving a lot since I was about 3 years old, is when we first left Brazil, and ever since then I lived in the US, China, South Korea, London, Argentina, and here. And having this room be like the first place I'm actually spending a full year in, which is the first time in like 5 years that that's happened, was really important to me to actually take some time and invest in some furniture, because those things feel really permanent to me. And even though I actually then knew that I was probably going to be moving again, so a lot of the furniture that I invested in is like very modular. So it's things that can easy to pack up and go, but at least when they're all set up feel really like permanent. So like this bed is like my favorite thing ever, but it's basically just 3 planks of wood and just a few supports under it. But it makes me feel like I have like a bed, a place to put my mattress. That's not the floor. But when I have to move inevitably again, I can actually just pack all these things up and take them with me. This little poof, which is in our living space, common room area, Ellen and I took a wondrous spring break trip our freshman year to Ibiza and Morocco, and this is one of the things we got in Morocco. We were there for like maybe 24 hours and we were incredibly stressed because we did not prepare for that trip whatsoever. And we were staying in the souk, which is like those big open markets, and I got this. And it's just kind of cute, and I never had somewhere to put it because in college you like have a common space, but like I got this when I was traveling and I didn't really want to put it in the common space with like some people that I didn't really know. So now that we have it here, it's really nice. But funny story that it took, I had to like air it out for like weeks because it smelled like an animal carcass, because right next to the store where this was sold is where they were selling meat and hides. And so it literally smelled terrible. And when I put it in my suitcase, all of my clothes from that trip just reeked. And when we were in London, I had to like wash all my clothes 4 times, and it was super expensive to wash it there. So it was a humbling experience in whole that trip, but at least we got this little object to be a memory from it. I was in Argentina, and I ran into someone at a bar that I really didn't want to run into. And so I just like walked out, and I was standing outside and I was on my phone and I was texting one of my friends back here in the city saying like, I just ran into this person, I didn't want to see them. And as I'm texting, a man on a motorcycle goes on the sidewalk and just like, with his motorcycle sidewalk, just like takes my phone. And I'm just looking around, and then the bouncer is like, why are you holding your phone out in the city? And I was just like, I was just texting. And they're like, no, you should know better. And then I just had like people saying like, you should have known better. Now you got your phone taken, blah, 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 blah. And then I'm just in a street corner in Argentina just crying publicly without any, it wasn't even like a delicate cry. It was just like a very deep stress cry. And then I go back in the bar and I just sit down on the staircase by my friends and I'm gloomy. And then apparently, because my phone screen was like entirely shattered because I had previously shattered it exiting a taxi, the guy just threw it on the sidewalk, and then the bouncer picked it up and gave it back to me. This is my little phone that I told you from Argentina. This beautiful little crack that just goes all the way up the phone. It's really useful to me, and it stays like in this drawer that I have, where I have my passports, I have different little travel things that I need, so I just have it all there, so when I have to go visit family or just go on trips, I can just like grab those things, put it in my bag, and they're all in one drawer, which is pretty nice.